All right, real quick before we dive in here, if you can just do me a favor, right here in the YouTube video description is my TCGPlayer link right here. If you just click that, it takes you to TCGPlayer. Help support me by buying the singles you would already be buying. Just to support the channel, I get a little bit of money from any purchase you would make. So if you could just hit that real quick here, again, right there in the video description before we begin, appreciate it. Thank you. What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here. Before we begin, if you can click that link if you're gonna buy any singles in the YouTube video description, it'll help me out a ton. Thank you. To shop TCGPlayer. What's going on, YouTube? Vampyr Gaming here, and today we've got a market watch for just pre-ban list. So this is, in this video, I'm going to talk about just some speculation. You can, of course, make your own decisions, but it's speculating what I think might be some good buys based off of the ban list. Now, of course, this is just you risking it now and then just kind of speculation. It really depends on what's on the list, but I have a video. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to. But first up, just kind of Rosinante. I mean, this is a $10 leader. I included it just because $10, probably like a steal. I mean, any alt art leader at $10, I think is a buy. The next one also, just because like it's so close to being something decent that, you know, one card plus you go back to the Dressrosa in set 10. So this card comes set 10. There are already rumors that we're getting Senior Pink and Weepy Toshi. So this could be something great. Do with that what you will. I think at $10 it's a pretty great buy because all the restocks. I paid $30 for mine, so go on ahead and eat good. But yeah, so that's why we've got him. The next one, I mean, this is just absolutely cheap. It's Hody Jones. This is just such a good value. For, again, like any leader under $10, I think somebody just got top 64 with Hody too. Like, I feel like this leader, if you had something that was like an 8-drop that said, if your leader is Hody Jones, play any Fishman Pirate card from your deck, and then take a life, then you get to play it, you use his effect, then you play out Hody, and you get 2 giant bodies, and you can spit out a Hody on command. Like, this is just me making something up, but I feel like that could really put this leader up there. And so yeah, I just wanted to mention him. I think in terms of like most possibility, I mean, is this card gonna be $5? I just don't see it. You know, people are buying him on the reg. I think just at this price, it's so good for like the upside. And then we're going to talk about just kind of like OP09 speculation, but depending on what might be on the ban list, I think we could see the return of Moncherry. Moncherry was really big early OP05 format, and it is an activate main ability, which will work with Blackbeard. So I picked up 2 of these, and you can kind of see the volume's gone up a little bit. Before, this card was sitting around $5, and has slowly been creeping up. I believe that's mostly in part due to Blackbeard. So, like, if Rebecca doesn't get hit, this could get you a way to, you know, get that, fetch that, and then just try to play around Blackbeard. Or even any other card like Burgess, anything that you might want. You can use this. So I think we could see a return of Moncherry. And at $7, absolute steal. It's also, so the big thing here is premium reprint booster. Has a lot of reprints. This is one of the cards that aren't reprinted. That's going to be my big target, right? Is going to be, because a lot of cards are going to be reprinted in that set. And for us here in the US, it's coming in 3 months. So in 3 months, every single thing is going to be reprinted in a set that every single person's going to be opening. So I think the best bet is going to be those, because obviously everything else gets reprinted and they're going to just lose all value because they look the exact same. But this is one of those cards that aren't reprinted. So I'm going to be targeting reprints, and I'm going to be targeting cards that I think aren't going to be on the list or that might change based around that. One of those being Enel. Enel, of course, if they hit Black and they hit Law, I think it makes 2 decks really good. If they don't hit Reiju, I think Reiju's phenomenal, and then I also think it's Enel And if they don't hit yellow at all, I think Enel might just be able to, because they're essentially like 4 life all of the time. I think this will be a big card. It, of course, is the main card versus black, because black, it's harder for black to remove, so if black's no longer in the picture. But again, it's not reprinted, so there could be room for people to just spam these and start spamming Yamato and Laws. So, or not Laws, Ace, haha. But yeah, so that's why I've put, and now, just because again, $6 for the alt, feels like so much to go on the upside versus the downside, because these OP05 has been restocked, 3 stocks are hitting. Eventually those will dry up because everybody's ripping them because they're like $120. And of course we have Rebecca. Rebecca is not reprinted, and you can kind of see here the price trend is going down. A lot of it, I feel, is speculation on her being banned. If black isn't hit at all, I see this card going right back up. Especially if Laws hit, because then it just makes black that much better. And so I think any kind of Rebecca all is a great pickup. Maybe like the Rebecca, because again, Awakened OP05 has been reprinted a lot. Boxes have gone down tremendously. I think that impacted the price here as well. But again, if she is not hit, I think this card could go up a lot. If it is hit, a lot of people are speculating that this card will be hit, and then if it is, of course, it'll be worthless. So do with that what you will. Same topic. I do think Sabo will be hit, but Sabo hit $30. This card is not reprinted. It is not reprinted, and OP04 has not been restocked at the OTS level that everything else has been. And so this has become a very expensive card, and if Black Yellow Luffy becomes a menace because they got rid of everything else, this card could be also. Again, Reiju has the ability to bottom deck things, so I think Reiju might, they just do add in Gravity Blade. They're like, boom, and then they're like, draw 4 cards, and you're like, yay! I digress. But they can potentially take out Black Yellow Luffy just because they get rid of their Sabos. But if not, I think this card goes up if it is not on the list, because Black Yellow Luffy. Even if black is hit, but Sabo specifically isn't, Black Yellow Luffy I think is super on the menu come OP08, OP09. And especially with Blackbeard not being able to play this, but playing against him any black deck, you'll want this. So I think this can be really solid. Then of course Sakazuki. Of course, let's just take a look back. This leader was $120. Then we find out he's getting banned. He goes down to 60. Then he gets banned. He's $20. And it's been, again, reprinted. A lot of them here. I think this card can really, if this card gets unbanned, if they unban the Sakazuki leader, because I know a lot of people have been playing with the Pirate Party one. If they unban this, I think this leader's $60 instantaneously. Because everybody loves Sakazuki. I mean, this card he has 2 free effects. That's more than any other leader. Just 2 free effects. No Dawn commitment required, nothing. Just 2 free effects. So I did go ahead and buy one. I did not have one in my collection for obvious reasons. But I went ahead and picked one up just in case he gets unbanned. And then Gecko. Gecko jumped off a cliff here with the value. He, of course, gets reprinted. There is an alt reprint as well. So it makes sense a bit. I think it's both that and the OP06 restocks, because OP06 is essentially $80 a box now. So with that, I think that's heavily impacted the price. He's gone down quite a bit. I think if he doesn't get banned, I think this goes up a little bit. I do think it goes back down as we get closer to the reprints, but this is way better than the premium reprint booster. If you don't think it's banned, I think it's a solid time to pick this up. If not, I think the even better time to pick this up is going to be in 3 months. But I think in the short term, if this isn't hit, I do think it goes up a bit, especially, again, if Law gets hit, because we get premium reprint booster after we get OP08. So it'll be shortly after, again, like 3 months. We should get OP08 next month, so about 2 months in, we'll get that right before OP09. But yeah, so I think it could be you could see this as an opportunity. Same thing here. I mean, this card is just abysmally cheap. It kind of made me sad. I pulled one. I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, he's only $7. I think especially here, this goes back up in the short term, down in the long term, because everybody's going to have him. This is probably like $2-3 card. And then we're going to talk just a bit here about OP09. Speculation Buggy is people's absolute favorite character. I mean, so many people have been waiting for a Buggy leader. If you're going to play Buggy, you probably want this. So, not because he gets the first effect, but just because you get to replace him and cycle a bit. And you can play him off of the Mihawk, which can really just get your combo going. Or is it Crocodile? It's one of those two. That's a 7/7. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity with this card, especially if he sees play and Buggy does anything. Because, again, my EB01 thesis stays the same. So few reasons to rip open the box, so everything in it just goes up astronomically. Think Cavendish. It was 6/20, and now it was like 25/50, and it's kind of come down a little bit, but like regular Cavendish became money. Same thing here, again, EB01 thesis, but Mr. 2, if Law is hit, this card could make a resurgence in Law, assuming the leader is not banned, and on top of that, Purple could just become a better deck. You've got Black, Purple Luffy coming, and you have RP Luffy, so this could be played in either of those. And if Black is hit and isn't there to easily remove this card can be absolutely backbreaking, and really just put a ton of pressure on, because big drop meta, you know? So, I think this card has a lot of potential, especially because it kind of fell off and went down to like 20, and it slowly made his way back up, of course, because you need it for this format of Law, but the next format you don't need him. But if there is a ban list that brings him back, or just makes way for other purple, I think I have a purple thesis that other purple decks can be good depending on what gets hit. So I like the thought of this. I would personally be holding this. I don't know if I would buy one, just because it will cliff off again as soon as it's not needed in the meta. Same here, Brook. If Black is hit, like Lucci or something, this card just becomes ever more so important and can become a 4 of. Or if Gecko Moria becomes the black deck again, I think this card just goes up. Again, extra booster thesis. I told y'all to buy Brook since he was $2. He is now $16. I still think it can, he's less than Cavendish still. I think there's still some room to go here, depending on the conditions. Same thing here. Alt Brook, I bought him at like 28, 30s. He's at 40. I think proportionally to his value, it's about... The alt hasn't gone up as much. I think this is one of the coolest cards. But yeah, then of course, again, this card will probably be reprinted down the line. But if Black gets hit, this is the next form of 2 removal. Aside from doing a huge Gecko play, this card can remove characters in a similar manner. So if Gecko gets hit, this might be the new 4 of in Black. So this is my thesis here, and it's $7. This card was 20. Now he's super cheap. I think especially the alts are like 20. It's not the worst time to consider snagging one of these, depending on what might happen, because if Black is still gonna be relevant, this card could be a huge factor in that. But you do have to, of course, consider Blackbeard. So I think there's opportunity here, depending on what shakes out. It is, of course, only good in RP Law, versus RP Law, but I think there's a huge opportunity if Gecko is hit that this card fills that gap. And then, of course, Blackbeard, top of mind. I've been screaming Laboon. I think Laboon is just a huge opportunity. Again, Extra Booster 01. We don't even know if Premium Reprint Booster 2 is going to reprint Extra Booster 01. And if not, it just triples down on my thesis. I think there's a world where Laboon becomes pretty regular. It is unfortunate, of course, that he isn't searchable. But, again, Blackbeard will be a deck soon. Blackbeard comes out at the end of the month in Japan. So I think any form of that deck, especially if they introduce any more removal, you're going to want Laboon. And yeah, and he gains instant value because you can play him and then activate him instantly. Big fan. The absolute GOAT of One Piece. And then, of course, I think this card should be hit if they hit everything else, and they hit Reiju, and they hit Gecko, and then they hit, you know, they answer Law. Then it leaves that gap for yellow to be the best deck. If yellow is the best deck, this card goes absolutely up, in my opinion, because like OP05 or OP07 is pretty heavily stocked. And so, like, this card has gone down a bit. I liked it, you know, I liked it at 30. I was like, you know, and then I was like, oh, here's extra stock. And I was like, it's actually a lot. I'm like, okay, cool. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here if yellow goes up. If yellow takes that gap, because then everybody's like, you know, everybody's going to play yellow. Yellow mirror, NL mirrors are disgusting. But this card is an absolute staple for any yellow deck. So I think if there was a card, though, that needed to be hit, it's this, sadly, because it's just better than Yamato, because this card guarantees heals. It's just a matter of rush. And then, of course, so this, again, just doubling down, is not reprinted. It is not reprinted in Premium Reprint Booster 01. You can get the manga, but you cannot get this regular from that set. So, if all those other colors are hit, and then Bonnie becomes the best deck, you're going to want this. You're going to want this. It was way up here, 35 at peak Bonnie, and then it was like, here's restocks, and it's like, okay, let's get a little bit more reasonable. I do wish I got rid of some of my Zoros, but it is what it is. But I think this card goes up depending on what they hit, because again, it leaves a gap, and this is, if Black's out of the picture and nobody can answer this card reasonably, you play it, you win. You play it, you win. So it can be absolutely filthy, because green doesn't really have a way to answer this either. This wins you the green mirror. So you're like, I'll go first. On 9, play Zoro. And they're like, well, I can't play my own Zoro because I died to your Zoro. So yeah, I really like this card. I think there's the opportunity if you don't have, I think maybe 2. I don't think you need a play set. Maybe 3 if you want to be safe. Because again, it's not reprinted. It is in the 2nd anniversary collection. But that's not coming out for 5 months. And then, of course, again, I kind of have this purple thesis. No one's ever excited to get Magellan, ever, a day in their life. And it really throws off curves. I think if those decks are hit, there is a possibility for, like, purple Luffy to make a resurgence. Again, you could play this in, like, black, purple Luffy, perhaps. Just because this card is such a strong card. I've been buying them since it was about $1 over here. I've been buying them, like right here-ish. And then, because I just think, like, you know, this card was $20, and Paramount War just got restocked, and so there was a down a bit, but now it's like making its way back up. I think there's a huge opportunity with this card, depending on what comes out. But yeah, as always, again, if you're going to shop any of these singles, if you could do me a favor, hit the link in the YouTube video description to buy them. Support the channel with the single you'll already be buying. And if you're not already subscribed, over 80% of my viewers are not. If you just do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. And as always, thank you so much for watching.